long-winded. Well, I used to be long-winded. My uncle, I went to Muncie one time, and I went up there to hold a revival, and that day he brought a sandwich in, and he said, "Listen, preacher, you preach as long as you want to, and I've got something to eat." That one, I must have been longer than I thought, but anyway. You're here today for a reason. I mean, what we're here for in this life is to find our purpose. And you know what? You don't know what my purpose is, and you don't know what your you don't know what anybody else's purpose is, and I don't know what your purpose is, but you know God does. We talked about that in Sunday school. In Ecclesiastes chapter 1, it reads like this, and says, "The words of the preacher, the son of David, king of Jerusalem, vanity and vanity, vanities of vanities. Saith the preacher, vanities of vanities. All is vanity. What profit hath a man of all his labor which he taketh under the sun? One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh. But the earth abideth forever. The sun also ariseth, and the sun goeth down, and has to his place where he arose. The wind goeth toward the south, and turneth about unto the north. It whirleth about continually, and the wind returneth again according to the service. All the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full unto the place from whence the river cometh, thither they return again. All things are full of labor, men cannot utter it. The eyes are not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. The things that have been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun." And I want to stop reading there for just a few minutes. You've got a purpose here today in this service. I thought about fulfilling your life's purpose. Can you imagine a man, which they used Solomon as being the writer of this book? Solomon was the son of David, the preacher, king of Jerusalem. And can't you imagine, here he is saying that all is vanity and vexation. Can't you imagine a man that had all the riches in the world, had more knowledge than anybody, and even kept it down in a book, and even a lot, the Queen of Sheba went to talk to him and to try to see how much wisdom and knowledge he had. And she said, "The half has never been told." And he writes this down for us. But we could have all the riches, and we could have all the knowledge or the education. But he turns around and he says, all is vanity and vexation. In this book, if you read the whole thing, it tells us how important it is to have the Lord in our life. And I don't care what we have. Can't you imagine if we read about Solomon and all his array, and we realize that it was vanity and vexation, but the only thing that's going to stand is if we have the Lord in our lives. You may be here this morning asking some tough questions to yourself. That's what I thought about. You're here today asking tough questions to yourself. Why am I here? What is the meaning of life? What is my purpose? Why do I feel so empty? If you will be honest with yourself and with God this morning, He has answers for you today. Christians sing a song, "It is well with my soul." well with my soul. There was a fellow in Chicago that was a lawyer that had prospered in all of his ways. He didn't take his money and put in stocks or bonds. He took his money and invested it in property. In the 1800s, in his investments, the Great Chicago Fire came through and burnt most of his money up in that fire because he put it in properties. In 1876, Horatio Spafford wrote the song, "It Is Well With My Soul." In 1876, in the great tragedy of the burning of the town in Chicago, his family kept telling him, "We want to go to England on a vacation." And he looks and says, "I've got some jobs to do, and I've got some things to do." In 1873, he finally agreed to his family to get on a ship, and he bought them passages to go to England. And his wife and 4 daughters were on that ship. And he had to stay behind. He said, "I'll be gone in a little bit." In 73, the ship collided with another ship, and 4 of his daughters drowned. And can't you imagine, in 71, we think that song and we sang it so many times about how that maybe it's a joyful song, we ought to be glad, but can't you imagine the man that lost everything he had, all his investments, and not only that, but that day on that ship in 73, they collided and 4 of his daughters drowned and his wife was hurt bad. After that, his wife got better. They had a baby that died at 4 years old. In 71, after all the calamities and everything happened, he wrote the song, "It Is Well With My Soul, My Good Come to the End." This morning, where are you? Listen, friends, I want to tell you, no matter what you have, there's an empty spot in your life and you need it filled. And Jesus is standing there waiting right here. And I know we say the words and we talk to him even though we know God's a spirit. Therefore, we have to worship him in spirit and truth. And we know Christ lived and was made flesh and walked here on this earth. But listen, friends, and today he's on the right hand of the Father making intercession. That middle wall of petition was broke from top to bottom, that no matter whosoever will, let him come and drink of this water of life freely. If that empty spot's in your life, or there's something missing there, and maybe you've searched and searched, and you've not found it, he's standing with outstretched arms. No matter what you went through, what tragedies, what circumstances, listen, can you still say, "It is well with my soul," as we stand?